The angiosperms, or flowering plants, are one of the major groups of extant seed plants and arguably the most diverse major extant plant group on the planet, with at least 260,000 living species classified in 453 families. They occupy every habitat on Earth except extreme environments such as the highest mountaintops, the regions immediately surrounding the poles, and the deepest oceans. They live as epiphytes, as floating and rooted aquatics in both freshwater and marine habitats, and as terrestrial plants that vary tremendously in size, longevity, and overall form. They can be small herbs, parasitic plants, shrubs, vines, lianas, or giant trees. There's a huge amount of diversity in chemistry, reproductive morphology, genome size, and organization that is unparalleled in other members of the plant kingdom. Furthermore, angiosperms are crucial for human existence. The vast majority of the world's crops are angiosperms, as are most natural clothing fibers. Angiosperms are also sources for other important resources such as medicine and timber.
Classification of angiosperms. Traditionally, flowering plants are divided into two groups. These are dicots and monocots. These names are derived from the observation that the dicots most often have two embryonic leaves within each seed. The monocots usually have only one. But the rule is not absolute either way. From a diagnostic point of view, the number of cotyledons is neither a particular hand nor reliable character. Modern phylogenetic classification has been replacing traditional classification. In the modern classification, angiosperms are divided into 8 groups. These are sum of groups shows phylogenetic relationship with other groups. The phylogenetic trees we must obtain some knowledge about 3 keywords. These are monophyletic, polyphyletic, and paraphyletic. Monophyletic is that they include a group of organisms descended from the single ancestor, whereas a polyphyletic is the composed of unrelated organisms descended from the more than one ancestor. Paraphyletic is the one that includes the most recent common ancestor but not all of its descendants. In angiosperms, mangroids, monocots, and chrysanthus shows paraphyletic. Ambrella, nymphaealis, Astrobilaceae shows monophyletic relationship. Ambrella is the shape form and Nymphaealis include the Hydrotheaceae family. Astrobilaceae are woody plants and Chrysanthus has toothy leaves. Mangroids characterized by tremulous flowers and fallen with one flower. Monocot characterized by single cotyledon and Pseudophyllum are aquatic plants.
The angiosperm life cycle. In the angiosperm life cycle, the reduced gametophyte of seed plants are protected in ovules and pollen grains. Double fertilization occurs when a pollen tube discharges to sperm into the female gametophyte within an ovule. The sperm fertilizes the egg while the other combines with two nuclei in the center cell of the female gametophyte and initiates development of wood, storing endosperm. The endosperm nourishes the developing embryo.
Amborellaceae. Amborellaceae is the oldest known angiosperm family with a member still living. The family contains only one genus, Amborella, and one species, Amborella trichopoda. It is currently accepted by plant systematists as the most basic lineage in angiosperms. Amborella is a monotypic genus of rare understory shrubs or small trees endemic to the main island Grand Terre of New Caledonia. It is the only genus of the family Amborellaceae and contains a single species, Amborella trichopoda. Amborella has a number of physical traits that are ancestral or primitive in nature. For instance, it is dioecious, which is a feature uncommon to angiosperms. It is on the lowest branch in the evolutionary tree of all angiosperms. This means that Amborella's genome provides understanding of flowering plant evolution. Another interesting feature of Amborella is that it is a gender switcher. That is, plants that start with male flowers can become female. Also, it does not have vessels and pollen grains like other angiosperms. Amberella is considered as the sister of all other extant angiosperms, supporting the theory that it branched off earliest from all other living angiosperms. Amberella seems to have acquired some unusual genomatic characteristics since it split from the rest of the flowering plant tree of life. According to latest research, the genome of Amberella provides conclusive evidence that the ancestor of all living plants evolved following a genome doubling event that occurred about 200 million years ago. Some duplicated genes were lost over time, but others took on new functions, contributing to the development of floral organs. The Amberella genome sequence facilitates reconstruction of the ancestral gene order in the co-eudicots, a huge group that comprises about 75% of all angiosperms. Hence, scientists with the Amberella Genome Project of 2012 believe that the genome sequence of Amberella can help to learn about the evolution of all angiosperms.
Amberella trichopoda. Amberella trichopoda is the only survivor of an ancient evolutionary lineage that traces back to the last common ancestor of all flowering plants. It is a small evergreen dioecious stem that occurs only a moist, shaded understory of montane forest of the South Pacific island of New Caledonia. Leaves are evergreen, alternate and exstipulate. The axial stem has unilocular nodes. Internal phloem is absent and xylem is without vessels. Flowers are small, unisexual apocarpous with differentiated perianth and numerous stamens. Small ovoid fruits are borne on a short stalk. Amberella is typically dioecious, but is known to change sex in cultivation. It has a mixed pollination system relying both on insects and wind. While it produces small fruits, the seed coat is quite thin and without starch or lipids that would make it attractive to animals that could have dispersed the seeds. Also, the seed has a poor germination rate and its wood is quite brittle. This may be the reason why this plant exists only in one region.
Nymphaceae. Nymphaceae is a family of flowering plants. Members of this family are commonly called water lilies and live as rhizomatous aquatic herbs in temperature and tropical climates around the world. Plant structure. Water lilies are rooted in soil in bodies of water with leaves and flowers floating on the surface. Some flowers open only in the morning or in the evening to attract insect pollination. The species of Nymphea have pink, yellow, red or blue flowers. The fruit is usually nut-like or berry-like. This clade consists of 8 aquatic genera. Molecular analysis indicate that most of them have relatively recent origins: Cambopaceae, Nymphaceae and Hydatidaceae. Water lily is used in different Ayurvedic medicine preparations. The flowers and leaves are also eaten in some parts. The plant also possesses medicinal properties due to its astringent qualities. Rhizomes are used in soaps or stir-fried and eaten. Flowers are commended as cardiotonic, liver, urinary and vernal disorders.
Ostrobiales, a small cat of flowering plants found in the Indo-Australian region and southern North America, occupies the basal position in Angiosperms phylogenes, about 100 species. Woody plants growing as trees, shrubs and lianes. The order includes just 3 families of flowering plants. Ostrobiaceae, a monotypic family containing the sole genus of woody lianes. Schizandriaceae, a family of trees, shrubs or lianes containing essential oils. Triminaceae, essential oils bearing trees and lianes.
Magnolites. The magnolite clade contain most of their lineages that were typically referred to as primitive angiosperms in earlier classification schemes. There are 4 main subclasses. The magnolite clade contains several thousand species divided into 20 families. Members of the magnolite clade are widespread throughout tropical and temperate areas of the world. Magnolite is the smallest and most archaic of the 3 great clades of the flowering plants. They are vascular plants which produce seeds that develop from flowers or enclosed in fruits. Seed possess 2 seed leaves. Secondary growth is present in many species. Subclasses of Magnolite. Magnoliales. Based on molecular analysis, Magnoliales includes 6 families. Piperales. This includes 4 families. Well-known plants which may be included in this order include black pepper, kava, lizard tail, birdwort, and wild ginger. Laurales. This includes 7 families. The order includes about 2,500 to 2,800 species. Most of the species are tropical and subtropical, though a few genera reach the temperate zone. Cannellales. It is defined to contain 2 families, which comprise 136 species of the fragrant trees and shrubs. Economic uses. Magnolite is a large group of plants with many species that are economically important as food, drugs, perfume, timber, and as ornamental, among many other uses. One widely cultivated Magnolite fruit is the avocado. Many Magnolite species produce essential oil in their leaves, bark, or wood. Magnolite are also an important source of spices and herbs used to flavor food, including the spices black pepper, cinnamon, and nutmeg.
Chloranthaceae. Chloranthaceae is a family of angiosperms. Members of this family are aromatic and have opposite evergreen leaves with distinctive serrate margins and interpedular stipules. The flowers are inconspicuous and arranged in inflorescences. Petals are absent in this family and sometimes so are sepals. The flowers can be either hermaphrodite or of separate sexes. The fruit is drupe-like, consisting of one and a carpel. This has 75 species and they are used in traditional medicine. This family Chloranthaceae consists of 4 genera: Ascarina, Chloranthus, Hedyosmus, and Sercandra. Ascarina is the most important one and it is a plant genus of fewer than 20 species of small trees. Those are usually tropical cloud forest species. Most species are dioecious, producing unsexual male or female flowers on separate plants.
Ceratophyllaceae. Ceratophyllum is a genus of flowering plants commonly found in ponds, marshes, and quiet streams in tropical and intemperate regions. They are usually called hornworts. Ceratophyllum grows completely submerged, sometimes floating on the surface, and does not tolerate drought. Hornwort plants float in great numbers just under the surface. They offer excellent protection to fish spawn but also to snails. Because of their appearance and their high oxygen production, they are often used in freshwater aquaria. Morphology. The plant stem can reach 1 to 3 meters in length. At intervals along nodes of the stem, they produce rings of bright green leaves which are narrow and often much branched. The flowers are small and inconspicuous with the male and female flowers on the same plant. The plants have no roots at all, but sometimes they develop modified leaves with a root-like appearance which anchor the plant to the bottom.
Species of Ceratophyllum. The division of the genus into species is not completely settled. More than 30 species have been described, but Ceratophyllum contain at least 4 highly variable species. They are Ceratophyllum desmosum, Ceratophyllum submersum, Ceratophyllum muricatum, Ceratophyllum plantiacanthum. Ceratophyllum desmosum. It is a submerged, free-floating aquatic plant with a cosmopolitan distribution native to all continents except Antarctica. It grows in still or very slow-moving water. Therefore, it can be seen in lakes, ponds, and quiet streams. Its dense growth can outcompete native underwater vegetation, leading to loss of biodiversity. This species is often used as a floating freshwater plant. Ceratophyllum muricatum. It is commonly known as prickly hornbird. It widespread in many places, though not all countries. Ceratophyllum plantiacanthum. Scattered location in Germany, Hungary, France, Russia, China, Japan, and Korea. Ceratophyllum submersum. It is a submerged, free-floating, bright green aquatic plant having a feathery appearance in water. The leaves are soft and 3 or 4 forked. It has green small flowers. It can be seen in ponds and still water.
Monocots. Monocotyledons. Monocotyledons, also known as monocots, recognized by the single cotyledon or seed leaf within the seed. Monocots comprise about 67,000 species, or 1/4 of all flowering plants. According to the IUCN, there are 59,300 species of monocots, include not only the very large grass family but also the orchid family and the sedge family. The largest family in this group by number of species are the orchids with more than 20,000 species. When we consider about features of monocots, there are mainly 8 features. First one is the embryo has single cotyledon, pollen with single pore, leaves has parallel venation, flower parts are in multiple of 3, vascular buds in the stem are scattered, roots are fibrous and adventitious, seed pods has 3 parts, secondary growth is absent. When we talk about economic importance of monocots, in agriculture, the majority of the biomass produced comes from monocots. The true grasses family seeds are the most economical important family in this group. There are grains. Example for grains are rice, wheat, maize, etc. The pasture grasses, sugarcane and bamboos. The grains are typically used to make cereal spreads and other foodstuffs. Other economically important monocot families are palm family, banana family, ginger family and amaryllis family. The examples are vegetables as onions and garlic. Palms and bamboos have traditionally been used as building materials in tropical countries. Bamboos is also gaining popularity as green building material for floors, counters and cabinets. Many plants cultivated for their blooms are also from the monocot groups. Examples are lilies, daffodils, orchids, cannas, bluebells and tulips.
Eudicots or GROUP3-ANGIOSPERMs. Eudicots are the largest group of flowering plants, also known as angiosperms. The term eudicots derives from the word dicotyledons. There are approximately 319 families of eudicots, which includes 3/4 of all flowering plant species. Morphological characteristics of eudicots. There are 2 cotyledons in the seed. It has a taproot system and the cross-section shows xylem tissues arranged in a star-like pattern. The stem is woody or herbaceous and the vascular bundles are arranged in a distinct ring. The leaves show reticulate venation, which means it's arranged in a net-like pattern. The flowers have 4 to 5 petals or multiples of it. The specific cell ultrastructure contains sieve elements that has organelles called plastids. However, the most defining morphological feature is the presence of pollen grains with 3 long grooved apertures or openings. Thus, eudicots are known as tricolpates. Subdivisions. Eudicots can be subdivided into 2 main groups as basal eudicots and core eudicots. The basal eudicots is again divided into 5 main clades and the co-eudicots are divided into 8 clades. A good understanding of the major groups of eudicots has emerged from the use of DNA sequence data. The basal or the early diverging eudicots consist a number of ancient lineages such as the Ranunculales or the buttercup family, the boxels or the boxwood family. Other members include Sabiaceae, Proteus and Trochodendrales. Co-eudicots are a large clade that consists most of the eudicots. Its main members are rosids, asterids and caryophyllales. Among them, rosids and asterids are large groups and contain many famous plants such as carnations, amaranthus, beetroots, sunflowers, lettuce and potato. Other members are saxifragales, Berberidopsidales, Santalales, Gunnerales and Dilleniaceae. Economic uses. Outside the grasses, wheat, corn and rice, which belong to the monocot family Poaceae, most plants of economic importance are eudicots. They are consumed as food, used in horticulture as ornamental plants because they bear colorful flowers. Their other uses include as wood and as medicine in Western and Ayurvedic treatments.
Monocots versus dicot. The big difference about monocots and dicots is the formation of the plant's veins on leaves. However, there are many different things that separate monocots from dicots. In fact, monocots differ from dicots in 4 structural features: their leaves, stems, roots and flowers. Within the seed lies the plant's embryo. It is here that the first difference between the two types can be seen. Whereas monocots have 1 cotyledon, dicots have 2. This small difference at the very start of the plant's life cycle leads each plant to develop vast differences. Once the embryo begins to grow its roots, another structural difference occurs. Monocots tend to have fibrous roots that web off in many directions. Dicot roots also contain one main root called the taproot. When considering the growth form, dicots are either herbaceous or woody and monocots are mostly herbaceous. Dicot pollen has 3 pores and monocot pollen has 1 pore. In monocots, the xylems are grouped together, but in dicots they are separated. The vascular bundles in monocot plants are without a cambium, whereas in dicots the vascular bundles have cambiums in between xylems and phloems. As the monocots develop, their stems arrange the vascular tissue sporadically. This is extremely unique compared to dicots' organized fashion that arrange the tissues into a donut-looking structure. The differences don't end there. Both monocots and dicots form different leaves. Monocot leaves are characterized by their parallel veins, while dicots form branching veins. The last distinct difference between monocots and dicots is their flowers. Monocot flowers usually have petals in multiples of 3 or 6, whereas dicot flowers have petals in multiples of 4 or 5.
In this presentation, we have discussed the origin and diversification of angiosperms with relation to modern phylogenetics. However, despite their diversity, angiosperms are clearly united by shared characteristics. Thank you for watching.